Greetings and salutations, my friends, and welcome to The Matrix. And just in case you're wondering, yes, the lady in the red dress is hot. Today, I'm going to talk about why gamers are dickheads, and also my sort of first impressions after a few hours of play of Jurassic World Evolution. Not all gamers are dickheads, clearly, that's just. I've enjoyed the E3 coverage over the week. We did lots of streaming on my Twitch and, watch-alongs, and we had a few hundred people hanging out. It was really good. I enjoyed E3 as a whole. Some of the presentations were a bit weird. The whole Sony moving venues after one trailer to go, hello, it's in the trailer, it's in the game. Cut to outside for a bit. That was all weird. But the actual trailers themselves were amazing. I was most impressed by The Last of Us Part 2. Because that was gameplay, and it was stunning, and it flowed beautifully, and it was beautiful and amazing, and other words that are good. But I wanted to particularly talk about a couple of games, and that's Cyberpunk 2077, and the other one that's just gone to Fallout 76. And the outcry, the pure rage of online, I want to say idiots, people. I've said idiots. And because obviously the two big announcements was that, we're making a Fallout game, and everybody went, hooray! And then they went, it's going to be online. And they all went, what? No, this is not Fallout. You cannot dare do this. Even before any real information was out there, just knowing it was online. Oh my God, is it going to be a Rust clone? Is it an MMO? Is it Destiny, but in the Fallout? All this sort of stuff. And also the same controversy was with Cyberpunk. Obviously, that's CD Projekt Red's next big game. And obviously they did The Witcher, which is a third-person jobby. And the Cyberpunk is going to be a first-person game with shooting. And people freaked out about that. And, it's fair enough. Like, if you love Fallout and you've loved all the 4 games so far, or the 2 made by Bethesda, and so you're seeing it go on a different direction. The reason why it's called Fallout 76 is because it's not Fallout 5. I would put my hat on the fact that a Fallout 5 will eventually come, and it will be the next installment in the Fallout franchise. But what my problem is with gamers is these people that don't understand, development in any way, shape, or form, and don't seem to sort of grasp the fact that these developers might want to do something different, might want to challenge themselves, go into a new area. They've spent 15 years or whatever making Fallout, improving on it, making it bits and bits and bits of a single-player RPG, and maybe they wanted to do something different, and different isn't necessarily bad. And the trouble is, if they just announced Fallout 5 and showed some graphics, slightly improvements, oh, look, here we go, blah, 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 people would be, oh, fucking same old shit. Absolute ridiculous. Look, they don't know how to make different games. They're probably the same people then complaining that it's now different, and the same as Cyberpunk. But it's game development, right? They went, okay, CD Projekt Red went, okay, we're going to make Cyberpunk. We love Cyberpunk universe, which it is a beautiful, amazing world. And they were probably sat down with designers and stuff, and they were talking about how they're going to do it. And obviously Cyberpunk is, a lot of it's based in these big metropolitan cities and all this sort of stuff. And the fact of the matter is, third-person games do not lend well to walking through corridors and rooms and in apartments and through little bits and stuff. That's why most most third-person games, like, The Witch, most of those games, Grand Theft Auto, are all mostly outside, because the camera is a lot easier when it's swinging around outside. It's all good and stuff. And they probably didn't plan to make a first-person game, but they were like, after they were designing the world and stuff, they probably went, actually, I think it actually works better in first person. And from everyone that has actually played their private demo thing, they've all said, yes, it has to be third person. It's just these weird people on the internet that just get really annoyed when their favourite developer or franchise changes things. And I bet them are a lot of the people that whinge when nothing really changes. It's like, let the game come out and review the game and take a look at it for yourself, then decide if it's a good game. Deciding now because of one little detail that it's not for you is just silly. I totally get if you're just not a first-person shooter game, because it is a first-person shooter with lots of other stuff, Cyberpunk. And I totally get that, but it's still an RPG and all that sort of good stuff, so just give it a chance. It's great that, we would hate it if developers if they all turned into EA and just started pumping out same franchise every fucking year, or Ubisoft with their Assassin's Creed 17. Doing different things is good. Some of them, Fallout 76 might come out and it might be terribly shit, right? But it's a learning experience. They might go, okay, look, 90% of that game nobody liked and we didn't like and it didn't work, blah, blah, blah. But there's bits there where we can really just take to our next Fallout game or into Starfield, all that sort of stuff. So just give developers... I've seen the amount of abuse I've seen on Twitter is bonkers. Just give them a bit of a break. Let them develop their games. That's their job. They know a bit better than us. And, yeah, so that's my little rant about E3 and just people. Just people. That's my rant about people. So the second point I wanted to talk to you about is about Jurassic World Evolution, the new game by Frontier Studios, the makers of Planet Coaster. And I've got an unpopular opinion about it. It's weird. I most games, I'm kind of... If I see a bunch of reviews and they'll say it's a good game, I generally find those games good as well, if it's my genre. But I'm not sure if Jurassic World Evolution is a very good game. And the reviews have been fantastic. The only one real big negative review I've seen is IGN's review. And they gave it like 5 out of 10. And I hadn't checked any of the reviews. I've seen that game for a few months ago. I've been following it for a while, and I decided that I was going to play it on my channel. And because what's not to love? Theme park, dinosaurs, lovely. And so I decided I was going to play it. So I kind of stop when I really want to play a game. I kind of stop looking at trailers and gameplay footage and stuff like that, because I just want to enjoy it for myself the first time. So I didn't look at any of the reviews. I bought it on the release, and I've enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's a terrible game. I've enjoyed what I've played so far. When I'm recording for YouTube, everything is enjoyable because it gets so silly and stuff like that, especially learning the game and how bad I am at it and all that sort of stuff. But the problem I have with it, the sort of overarching problem I have with it, there's lots of little things that annoy me. The tutorial's pretty shit, but I just think the level of detail is... I want to say crap, and I'm going to say crap. It's crap. The level of detail is crap. Coming from the guys that made Planet Coaster, which if you haven't played it, it's basically like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but with ridiculous details. So, most sort of theme parky games, you can you place rides. Maybe you can design roller coasters and stuff like that, and then you place a burger shop and an ice cream parlour and all this sort of stuff. And that's got all that in Planet Coaster, but you can... and there's all these building blocks that you can take within the game and make your own houses and amazing sculptures and own little shops, cover them in fascias and put ridiculous amounts of detail, like everything you could imagine, like amazing levels of detail that give it that sort of longevity. And the Jurassic World just doesn't seem to have that. Like, admittedly, I've not tons of hours into the game, and I know there's stuff to unlock, but even looking at that, it's still never going to be that much thing. Like, the first island also doesn't give you any sort of real big space to play with. It's quite cramped, and you're kind of forced into designing it that way, which is never a good thing for those sort of games, because you want to be able to plan your amazing theme park rather than be forced into decisions. And also, the feedback from the people that come to your park. I used to love clicking on people, and it would say how happy they are, what they've been on, what they spent their money on, how much money they brought into the park, how much money they've spent. Did they visit the cash point to get more money because your park is so amazing? I don't think any of that exists at all. Like, even on the sort of fluffy level in Jurassic World Evolution, it just seems to give like an overall star rating of what people think of the park. And to me, that's a really big miss. I also hate these sciencey missions, like science versus military versus entertainment. And apparently once you get one too high and the other's too low, they'll start sabotaging your park and, you know, like turning off an electric fence, letting a dinosaur loose. But that would lead to mass murder. I feel like that's a bit overkill on the sabotage, but he still manages to keep his job. And yeah, so that I like the dinosaurs and the breeding aspect, although with the fossil collecting and then the researching the fossils, it feels like one of those mobile games where you click on something in a little free mobile game. You click on something, it's going to say, oh, that's going to take 2 hours. Or you can speed it up for only 99 cents. And it felt like, because everything's got a timer. You click on that, that's going to take 5 minutes. Cool. Click on that. Okay, that's going to take 2 minutes. And that felt a little bit, even if that was hidden a bit more and it was just sort of a random 1 minute to 5 minute thing and then it pops up saying we've arrived back, just to hide that little weird time thing. And there's no way of speeding up time or pausing. How is that not a thing in these games? Especially early on, if you're in money troubles. Let's say you spent all your money and you're only making a few quid and you just need the park to run for a bit to save up for the next big thing. You just have to sit there. There's no way of speeding it up. That in those sort of games just is bonkers to me. Which is a real shame because the game looks so beautiful. The dinosaur aspect is really fun, of course. I've already had a dinosaur eat another dinosaur and that wasn't good, but and that sort of thing is fine, but I just think, and I think it'll be fun for maybe one playthrough, maybe two if you want to try a different thing, but those sort of games rely, the City Skylines, the Planet Coaster, where you can go back again and again and do something different. I've heard there's, like, each island has a difficulty level and different things happen, like storms and stuff like that, and all this sort of fun stuff to make it more sort of challenging. But I quite like it when in those theme park games when I've designed everything so perfectly that it just runs. The Jurassic World seems to want to introduce stuff going wrong all the time, regardless of how perfectly you manage your park, just to sort of keep it interesting. And then eventually, apparently, you unlock a sandbox mode, which is apparently a much larger island where you've got unlimited money, where you can just go for it and have a lovely time and design your park as you like. I like the idea of sandbox mode, but I also want to have money. Like, I want this in-between thing. I want City Skylines, where you go, this is my plot of empty land. I've got whatever it is, £1 million to spend, and I'm going to design my park but I still have to run it as a business. When you've got unlimited money, you just start fucking about. Like, it'll be fun as a different game mode, but I still prefer like just a nice sandbox mode with money and all that sort of good stuff. You still have to do all the research and unlock all sort of stuff without the shitty missions, without the shitty unlimited money and stuff like that. And it's weird because it's fun. And I think the reason why, and it's not the developers, because they made Planet Coaster, which is, as I said, is massively detailed. So for me, the problem lies in consoles. I feel like this game has been consolified. Is that a word? It's probably not a word. It's a word now. They've consolified. They've simplified things down so there's not a ton of information. Everything's a bit more simpler. And I feel like that's why... I feel like if this was a PC exclusive, you'd have Planet Coaster, but with dinosaurs, which is what a lot of people wanted. And I know it's an unpopular opinion. I'd heard bits on Twitter of people that played it and was like, oh, it's really good, really good, really good. And I was like, cool, got into it, played it, enjoyed it. Like I said, I'll probably do one playthrough. But then sort of, because I was doubting it, going, hang on, I don't like it as much as everybody else. What? I wonder what the reviews are like. And like I said, the reviews were really good. The only one I kind of agreed with, ironically, was IGN. And this is a problem with reviews. Not reviews, but people that watch reviews. Is that if they disagree with the review is wrong. Now, can you not see that that's ridiculous? This is one guy, whether he's a professional at IGN or GameSpot, or whether he's just a part-time YouTuber, or just a random dude you met on the street talking about games. That's his opinion. He can take the best game in the world and just not really enjoy it for any number of reasons. And that's fine. He's not wrong, because that's his opinion. And so this poor guy, I don't even know who it was who reviewed it for IGN, reviewed this game, talked about a lot of the problems that I also have with the game, and the like to dislike ratio on their YouTube, it's like 10-1, and that it's just a massive amount of harassment in the comments, saying this guy's, he clearly didn't get paid enough by Frontier to give it a good review, blah, 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 blah. No. He just didn't like the game you liked. Get over yourselves. It's okay. We all have different opinions and likes and dislikes of games. Like, me personally, I'm really getting fed up with these big open world games. And that's probably another unpopular opinion, because they're all the rage. Every game seems to be a big open world. It has to be an amazing game to grab me in. I quite like more linear story, where it's filled with much more colour and story, because you don't have to worry about 6 million side quests and random shit you find in the woods or stuff to do over there, and it's all copy and paste content. Fetch me 6 pigtails from the angry pig mob men. Don't know what game that's from, but it's probably there somewhere. And I just think it doesn't need to be that way. Like, there's other ways of doing games. And I quite liked things like Spec Ops The Line. I'm not a massive first-person shooter fan, but that was linear, and it had this beautiful story, massively underrated. It doesn't have to be. I don't need 100 hours of content in a game for me to feel like it was worth it. If I can have a really good time playing through, whether that be 5 or 10 hours, and I've enjoyed every minute, then that is worth it in spades. Like A Way Out, for instance, which I played with my girlfriend Curly. It's not that long a game, but we loved it. It was full of content. We really enjoyed it, stuff like that. And it's just like, so I'm basically, this video is summed up by people are idiots. Nice generalisation. You know what I'm talking about? Some people. We all know some of these people. Just get off the developers' backs and get off reviewers' backs, right? It's fine if every reviewer in the world thinks that the game you love is shit, because you love it, and that's fantastic. That's all that matters to you, is that you love it. So there we go. I've just ranted for about 17 minutes. I was even thinking the other day about making a separate channel where I rant about stuff, because obviously the gaming stuff is relatable to this channel. But I just feel like a place where I need to rant about random things, whether it be like news or politics or YouTubers or drama and crap that goes on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. And like, let me know what you guys think. It's not going to be a channel that I, make sure I upload every day to. It's just going to be a channel where if something irks me or amuses me or pisses me off, I can make a little video just like this where I'm talking to you guys, maybe with a few clips, or it's nice and simple, and just have a place for it that doesn't sort of clog up my gaming channel. So there we go. There's rant over. I feel a lot better for getting that out. Let me know what you think. And like I said, many of you, I'm sure, think Jurassic World's one of the best games you've played this year. And like I said, I don't think it's a bad game. I just think they've missed a number of tricks. But let me know what you think of Jurassic World in the comments below. And thank you very much for watching. And I will see you next time. I might have a background. I might still be in the Matrix. Who knows? Bye-bye.